Hello guys and welcome back to another video on the channel. Now today I'm going to be going through the most recent transfer rumours that have been in the newspaper and reports and on the internet. I'm going to rank them from make it happen, interesting, there's a chance, unrealistic, and there's no way of that happening. Now today I'm going to start off with Savinho to Tottenham, and I think that's a really interesting signing. Now, Tottenham are actively pursuing a deal, but Man City are demanding a significant fee and they want their replacement signed before they let Savinho go. Now, Savinho has never really made it in the Premier League. He's always struggled. Last season in the Premier League, 24 games, 1 goal, 1 assist, only 833 minutes. We're talking about someone who's only been able to play less than a third of available minutes to him in the Premier League. Now, Tottenham, as we all know, have been activating this, trying to pursue this deal since last summer really, and you kind of wonder if he can get the game to at Tottenham, whether he can evolve and become a player that a lot of us know he can be. He was very good at Girona before City brought him, and we just think under Tottenham their wingers are quite injury prone, so he can definitely get the team. Then he probably can maybe even start on the left wing, especially knowing that Xavi Simons is out, Dejan Kulusevski, we don't know when he's going to return. So Savinho to Tottenham, I think it's a very interesting deal. Obviously, we know they're pursuing other deals in that same or similar position that could be, that is just that looks more appealing. That's why I'm going to put in interesting instead of make it happen. Now up next we have Bruno Guimaraes to Arsenal, and I say make it happen. We're talking about someone who has been one of the best Premier League players for the last 2-3 years now in that Newcastle midfield. He is a special player. The way he can defend, the way he can attack. He's a passionate player, and that's what you also want in a team. And I think Arsenal, if you can get Bruno Guimaraes, you've got one hell of a player. Obviously, we are looking at around an £80 million fee. As of recording this, a first bid has been rejected. But you just think Arsenal, they want to build on their Premier League winning team, they will go for it. And that's why I think they will make it happen. Now, next up, we have Rodri to Real Madrid, and I think there's a chance of this happening. Now, the fee in between the two are a lot. Man City wants 75. It looks like Real Madrid only want to pay 50. Rodri, obviously, coming off a massive World Cup where he was player of the tournament. He looked like his just before Ballon d'Or best in those games at the World Cup. And I think Real Madrid will want him, but whether Man City would want to have a whole rebuild of their midfield after losing Bernardo Silva, obviously bringing Anderson, but then will they want to bring in Boadi and have to say goodbye to Rodri, who's an experienced Premier League champion, Champions League champion? We're talking about someone who's great here. Now, I think there's only a chance because I don't know if City are willing to sell, but Rodri wants to move, and if he's not willing to sign a new contract, there's all the chance that City will sell, so they can get a fee from Rodri. Now, next up, we have Jack Grealish to Atletico Madrid. And I think there's a chance. Jack Grealish, he had a good half a season at Everton last season. He's an elite ball retention. He's creative. His output has been questioned at times, but I think he's a very good signing. But the problem with Grealish is City will probably want to sign 30 to 40 mil, which isn't bad for Atletico Madrid. But he is one of the highest paid players in that City team. Until his new contract, he was making more than Erling Haaland. That's how much he makes. It's around 300k a week. Will Atletico want to pay that? Will he drop his wage? We don't know. That's why I think there's only a chance, because I don't know if I can see Atletico Madrid wanting to do this deal for those wages. Now, next up, we have one that I have suggested in a previous video. Osimhen to Spurs. And I think it's interesting. Now, I might move it up into make it happen. But we're talking about someone, 15 goals, 3 assists last season. We're talking about someone who can easily get 20 goal contributions. He's an elite finisher. He's an aerial threat. He's one of the best pressing strikers. I'd say he's the best in Europe when it comes to pressing off the ball. What he adds to a team on and off the ball, he is a great player. The problem with Osimhen, though, Galatasaray easily going to want about 80 million for him. Then his wages. He's earning a lot in Turkey. probably close to the £300,000 a week mark if I had to make an estimate, which is why I think it's not a make it happen. Also, the amount of money Spurs have already spent. Do you see them making close to another £100 million deal for a player who is 29 years old? I just don't see them doing it. I mean, even Chelsea a few seasons ago, they refused to pay the wages for Osimhen, which led to them not signing him. But that's why I'm going to put in interesting, because I think it could be a great deal if they can get something out of it. Now up next, we have Lewis Hall to Man United. And I think you're going to make it happen. He's a progressive passer, attacking full-back profile. He can easily move into the midfield. He can get up the width. And I think he will be great. Now, we are looking for about 50 mil, 60 mil for him. But I think he might be worth it. Luke Shaw obviously had a good season when it comes to minutes played and whatever. But he wasn't really an output for Man United. Didn't really contribute to the goals. And I think that's what Man United will work on at that left-back position, is a left-back who can contribute defensively and, more importantly, attackingly, especially with how attacking Carrick's football is. And I think a left-back like him would be very important. But speaking about left-backs at Man United, Miles Lewis-Skelly. And I think that deal is unrealistic. I mean, I was close to putting it in no way. But I just think, if Bruno Guimaraes is going to come in, so that would technically make Skelly third choice left back and a probably fourth or fifth choice midfielder. And if you're Skelly, would you want to be in that position? We're talking about someone who started a Champions League final just a few months ago. Would he want to be a fourth or fifth choice left back or midfielder? We've seen how good he is for Arsenal. Will Arsenal even want to let him go? How much would that be? We're looking at 60 million euros here. I don't think that deal will be put across the line. Now, moving on. Here I have Salah to Trabzonspor. I think it's interesting. Obviously, it's not the biggest Turkish club. Besiktas seem to be interested in, but they have seemed to halt that interest. I don't know whether it's over wages or image rights or what. But that ship hasn't sunk, but it looks like it's on hold. That's why Trabzonspor are trying to get in here. Now, I think the report said they're offering about 15 million in wages. I think that's a very good side deal. Whether you're Salah though and you're thinking, okay, I could probably still play, a Champions League level club. I think he can, and I think he might want to. So if he can get there, then that's it. So I'm actually going to move it down so there's a chance, just because I think Salah might want a bigger move. But if the money's enticing, that's what Salah wants. There's nothing we can do about it. Now, I hope I'm saying this guy's name wrong, but Micah Götze, PSG, I think you make it happen. Now, he wouldn't get into the starting 11 straight away, because obviously, you've got Dembele, Doué, Azarana, Barcola, Kvicha Kvaratskhelia. But if you can have this guy on the bench and he can come on, and this guy at Ajax last season, he was special. I mean, we're talking about a young winger. Upside, we're looking around 50, 60 million for him. But is he worth it? I believe so. His dribble completion rate was very high among Europe in the left wingers. His goals, his assists. I mean, if you just watch his highlights, he is a banging player. If you can get him for 50, 60 mil and start developing him, he's still young, he's only 21, you have a player on your hand. Now, up next we have Bradley Barcola. And I think it's interesting. Now, what makes it not in the green is the PSG. They've seen Morgan Rogers go for 117 mil and saying, Barcola, we can get 170 for him. And that's why I think the price tag, I don't know whether Liverpool play it after playing so much for Wirtz and Isak last summer. But I think he's a very good player. I mean, his dribbling is immense. He's very good at getting himself into one-on-one situations. The problem with him is he doesn't seem to have the composure in the one-on-one situations. We're talking about someone who could have easily scored twice against Inter in the Champions League final. We're talking about a guy who probably should have scored against Arsenal in the last Champions League final. His composure has always been a bit of a problem, and I but I think this time, after the World Cup, he seemed to be more clinical. I think if he can just work on that finishing, he'll be great. But it's the price and it's the fact that he isn't very good at finishing, as I've just said. And Salah, he was the main output for Liverpool for many years. And whether you want him to duplicate, your goals, I don't think he's good enough to, play how Salah did or get the goals that Salah did. And that's why I'm not going to put it and make it happen. Now we have Yan Diomande to Real Madrid. You make it happen. Vinny might be out the door. Rodrigo is injured for at least another about 4 months with his ACL tear. I mean, we're talking about one of the best young players in Europe right now. This guy, he was great at the World Cup. He made Hincapié look like a terrible defender, and Hincapié was a Premier League winner last season. The fee is going to be around 100, 110 mil, but you expect that from a player so young and so talented. And Real Madrid, they definitely need that right winger, and they definitely need that big signing that Yan Diomande is. And I think it will be very interesting. That's why I think it has to be a make it happen. Now finally, Vinny to Arsenal. I think there's a chance. Whether all this talk is just Vinny's agents trying to get him to seem like he could go to Real Madrid, to Arsenal, so then he just bumps up Real Madrid's offer a little bit. Whether Real Madrid will even move their offer, we don't know. But even if Arsenal are willing to break their wage budget, which apparently it does seem like they are willing, or personal terms have apparently might have been agreed on, but a transfer fee as well. We're talking about Arsenal's record amount in contract fees, record amount in a transfer fee. We're looking at someone who might be the English transfer record for a guy that's got a year left in this deal, but he's that good. He's that great. You kind of have to if you're Arsenal. I mean, last season, 22 goals, 9 assists. We're talking about someone who's not just a dribbling threat, he's so good in front of goal, he can create something out of nothing. And I think that's why Arsenal should go in for him, but we don't know yet. Anyway, thank you guys for watching the video. Like, subscribe, share. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.